Beef up your drums, smash your room mics, add bite to electric guitars, and smooth out vocals with a bit of soft knee compression and saturation using the Empirical Labs Mike-E. The Mike-E is a warm and musical sounding compressor, preamp, and saturator that is brought to you for use within your mix due to the partnership between Empirical Labs and Softube. Let's start right away by putting the Mike-E on our drum bus, and we'll take it out of bypass and put it in a ratio of 1:1 just to get that great saturation. Notice the full crunch and bite we could get as we drive our preamp harder. You'll notice the bad light turn on, but use your ears to see how much saturation you want. For this example, let's keep the preamp on 4 dB of gain and then use the drive knob to drive the CompSat section a little harder. Now let's add a little bit of compression by switching through our ratios. For a more natural sound, I'll use a 2:1 ratio, a longer attack, and then a shorter release so that we let the transients through. The Mike-E has 3 different emphasis modes. The original, HF, is designed to make the CompSat sound warmer and more tape-like. HF2 is the same emphasis as the original HF, but now affects the compressor, and the higher frequencies will trigger the compressor more and get softened. LF attenuates the high frequencies going into the detector of the compressor, making the compressor react less to high frequencies. Let's listen to these different modes at a 4:1 ratio and pay particular attention to the sound of the cymbals. And the Mike-E couldn't be complete without Dave Durr's famous NUKE ratio for his compressor. Listen as we drive the compressor harder and make the drums explode. Use the mix knob to get the perfect blend between the dry and compressed signal. Now listen to the original signal. And then with the Mike-E engaged. Let's listen to the Mike-E on some guitars. Driving the preamp and saturator harder gives that great transformer sound that Empirical Labs is known for. Now listen to how the emphasis brings out a totally different character of the guitar. Set a longer attack to allow the guitar transients to come through, but then experiment with the release to get a nice musical sound of the release of the compressor. Experiment with different ratios and then different amounts of the drive knob. Now listen how the bottom end of the guitars cleans up with the high pass engaged. Now listen to the original signal. And then with the Mike-E engaged. And for those of you using Amp Room, you'll be happy to know that Mike-E also is able to be used as a module within Amp Room. The Empirical Labs Mike-E is more than just a compressor. It's a compressor, it's a preamp, and it's a saturator. And the ability to drive the preamp independently from the CompSat section gives you complete creative control over the type of saturation you'd like in your mix.